name's Alex Rodriguez, reminding you, you don't need a contract, you need a team of pros.
Got freebies. Today, folks, we're talking about flooring. The first 5 people that share our stream, and you give us love, we'll give you love. We're gonna give you a free gift card, we'll ship it out to you. Today we're talking all things engineered flooring. We have an amazing product line to cover with you. Urbanfloors today. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
My name's Alex Rodriguez, reminding you, you don't need a contract, you need a team of pros.
Hey folks, my name's Alex Rodriguez. I am the owner of Bay Cities Construction, and today on the show we are talking about flooring. We've been doing quite a few jobs, quite a few large remodels lately, and flooring is a major topic of discussion when we're planning out the project. So we are going to talk about flooring options, and the vendor that we have today that we're going to be talking about today is well known, has been around since 2003, and has some of the most exciting product lines that I have seen in the last 5 years. It's really cool. So let's get into it. I want to share with you, we got a little PowerPoint here. We're going to run through the product line and talk about it. Remember folks, that the show is a lot more fun when you interact. So post your comments, your questions, and we will address them and answer them during the show and after the show. If you're watching us on a rebroadcast later and you have some questions about what you see, please send us a message, and Brian here at the office will respond to you and make sure that all of your questions get answered. We also have a lot of free cool gear. We've got these really cool Bay Cities construction ball caps. So you wanna, if you share with us, we'll give you a little bit of love. You give us a little bit of love, we'll give you some love. We've got some ball caps and some t-shirts and stuff. All right, folks, let's get into the PowerPoint presentation, and we'll get started. So home remodeling, home flooring. We're going to talk about the trends. We're going to talk about the things you should consider, and we're also going to talk about 3 price points. Okay. Now, the way that I've presented the pricing is basically on an 800 square foot type of a space. Okay. I would say 80% of the remodels where we're replacing the common flooring, it's about 800 square feet. It could be 150 square feet or so more, but it's very seldom over 1,000 square feet. So for some of this is a very common situation for houses down here in the South Bay, right? Most of the houses are about 1,300 square feet to 1,500 square feet. If you happen to have a bigger house, then you'll need to do a little bit of math to figure out what you think one of these products is going to cost. Then what we're talking about here too is not just the product cost, but the total install cost. Okay, labor, materials to get the particular product installed. So think of it like this: it's going to be a good, better, best model. I think that all of the products that we're going to talk about today are tip top, but I don't think that the cheaper ones are better or less than the more expensive ones. They're for different price points. I think that at each price point, these products are really cool and they'll serve the purpose. Not everybody can afford, a top of the line price point. So as part of the show, we to help people pick items that are within their budget and so that they can make it happen, right? So remember this: good, better, best. Good is the baseline model, kind of what we consider your entry level. Better is the mid-grade, and then best is the higher end stuff. And Urbanfloors has a very wide product line, but we picked a few just for the sake of brevity of the show. We picked a few to talk about it, so that's what we're going to talk about today. So let's talk a little bit about who Urbanfloor is. Let's talk about home flooring trends. I would say over the last 5 years, flooring has really changed. And it's mostly because of the technology that has been implemented in creating the flooring. So on here, you see these kind of old school slats of oak, and it's a herringbone or chevron. Some people call it herringbone, some people call it chevron pattern. And this kind of a pattern goes back maybe 25, 30 years. And it's kind of a timeless look, and it really is a good way to use, you know, what particularly this dimension lumber has been, you know, typically kind of been like the leftovers of the long full length planks. So the trend now, this is a finished product here. This is natural wood glued onto, let me go back. This is concrete, natural wood glued on concrete. How do I get out that?
Hover up.
Oh, there, cool. Sorry. So this is the finished product with a chevron pattern. Now you have to understand that as part of your flooring deal, you're going to have to consider what your baseboards are going to be, okay? But for the purposes of today's show, we're just talking about the flooring itself. The baseboards are an animal in themselves. I don't want to convolute the pricing that we're talking about here by including the cost of the baseboards. So this is kind of like a pattern, a parquet pattern that was found pretty commonly in the 80s, maybe even early 90s. Now today's product line, or today's trend, has been this move to go to a wider plank. And the wood flooring, the manufactured wood flooring has gotten amazing in its ability to come up with really cool detail, really cool textures, and the prices come down quite a bit because of the technology. They've been able to make, they've been able to use real thinner material and laminate it. And we'll talk about how that stuff gets laminated and stuff. But just understand that the new tradition, the new trends are to go with a wider plank material. This is an oak, so there's definitely some grays going on. As far as the trends, there's a natural type of a setup. We can feedback. Being able to utilize wood that has a varying degree of color, right? So you've got like this that's got a warmer tone, and this has got kind of a bleach tone. It's really an exciting time to be in construction and installing these floorings. It's just another example of kind of some lighter woods. So oak is back. You know, for a while, you know, people wanted acacia, and you know, it's also known as like an African walnut, commonly known as an African walnut. But oak is back. It's really cool to see this trend resurrect a locally, domestically, not locally, but domestically farmed hardwood. So it's in modern houses, the wide planks, the oak is a very common seen, or commonly seen in this trend. This is another example of probably about a 4-foot plank, maybe not quite a 4-inch plank, not quite as wide. This is a great example of an urban floor plank, and see how it has a bit of a wash to it. There's a little bit of a highlight of the grain, and man, this is one of the things that I love about this company's products. They're really special in many ways, and it really will help you get another level of dimension out of and texture out of a space. You notice that they have different grain different grain patterns running from plank to plank. You know, you got a kind of a wide grain, then you got a little bit tighter grain. This type of pattern makes a room look really cool. So the distressed plank is definitely been around. Probably that trend's probably been around at least 8-9 years now, and the reason for it is that if you have dogs or young kids that are rough on floors, the distressed look really is a great option to help help alleviate the cosmetic impact, right, of pets and small kids. So I mean, with this type of floor, the more worn it looks, you polish it up with a little bit of oil, and you can get most of those scratches taken off. It's a really a cool option, and I think that's one of the reasons that it's become so popular. This is another sample of an Urbanfloor product, and nice tones, real rich. They have a color palette for just about every taste. I really would challenge you to find a flooring I would really challenge you to not find a product line that wouldn't go with your decor from the Urban Flooring folks. This is kind of like a skipped pattern. It's another form of a distressed floor. Now I do want to bring some attention to some of the features of this floor. So this edging here is particularly interesting in the sense that it's random, but this is mimicking like a recycled or reclaimed barn plank wood, right? So they make that happen. So hey folks, we're gonna take a real quick break. I want to share with you a few words from the sponsor, and we'll get back and we'll keep talking about flooring.
The very first moment you step into an Urbanfloor home, you can feel the difference. Deep, rich wood accents rise to fill the room. Bright, airy hardwoods transport you to faraway, exotic locales. Rugged, romantic textures sweep you back in time. You make your house a home. Urbanfloor makes your home amazing.
Oh my God. No, look, wait. Hey folks, we're back. Alex with Bay Cities Construction. Hey, so we're going to be talking about what is next. Not what is next. We're going to be talking about the next important things to consider. What to consider when you're dealing with your flooring. You get that slide away? Sorry. Where's that? I can't see it. Is it there? Right here. One more. There you go. Okay. What to consider. Couple of things. The subfloor. Is it tile? Are you going on top of a wood subfloor? What is the deal? Are you exposed to moisture? These are some of the things to consider. In some cases, a wood floor, an engineered floor, is not a good idea to install. In some cases, sometimes it's better to install like a porcelain tile. So let's talk about that a little bit. One of the things you should consider is the level of traffic and how hard that traffic is going to be on your flooring. Okay, so if you've got kids, you've got pets, man, you really need something a little bit more durable. Or if you're going to come to terms, if you want to have wood for sure, you're going to have to come to terms with a lot of wear on your floor. So you should consider something that looks distressed. Okay, so let's get into some of these other things to consider. How large is your space? Now, how large your space is comes into play more on the side of cost. Okay, if you've got 3,000 square feet, $4 a foot difference or $3 a foot difference from a higher end floor to a mid grade floor or lower end floor is a big deal, right? If you have a restaurant, let's say, and you're in a commercial situation, and you've got 8,000 square feet of flooring that you have to do, the $2 or $3 a foot difference is a big impact on your budget. So if you have a smaller, if you're only doing like the living room and a hallway, and you've got maybe 450, 550 square feet, that's kind of a different story. You could potentially go up a couple of price points levels, and it won't really bust your budget. If you go $2 a foot or $3 a foot more on 600 square feet, you're looking at maybe $2,400 or something like that, which for some people that's kind of a deal breaker. So keep it. One of the things to consider, keep in mind, is how much flooring you need. Okay, it has an impact on your budget. The next thing to consider is what the traffic is that's going to be on the floor, and what degree of maintenance do you want to deal with. Okay, this is this is not an urban floor, but this is a good example of a floor condition that is exposed to sunlight. You see these windows back here? Though this floor, over the life of the floor, if there's no good window curtains or shades put on, this floor will be exposed to a lot of UV light. And you may not have, this family may not have dogs, they may not have small children, but if you have a lot of windows that get a lot of light into that room, that definitely will have a significant impact on the longevity of the aesthetics of that floor. So keep those things in mind. Keep your desired maintenance. Some of these natural floors will require more maintenance than the engineered or even the vinyl floors, and we're going to talk about that. So Urbanfloor makes a pretty wide variety of flooring in different materials, and not only the species of the wood, but also they do offer a vinyl option for those of you that want to keep the price point relatively low. We have installed, and we're going to post these pictures soon, we installed of the Composer line, I think it was Beethoven, in the Valley, this large remodel that we just finished, that we're finishing in Encino. I think we put in a little bit over 1,000 square feet. We did the entire house. We did the kitchen, the living room, the hallway, the dining room, and the family room. It was probably a little bit more. It was maybe 1,500 square feet, could have been. So anyhow, we're going to post some of those pictures. Hey, folks, if you have any questions or comments, please share them below. We'd love to read your questions on the air and answer your questions. You know, the Shen is a set. So I want to talk about this one here. This flooring is really cool. I have a sample here. I'm going to show you. It's a 7.5 inch wide plank, and it comes in some really cool colors. By the way, what you're looking at here now is only one example of each of the lines. So the Shen, the Via Caprese, the Composer, the Presidential Signature, the Mountain Country, Savannah, and the Home. They probably have somewhere between 5 to 9 different colors, depending on which one you're picking. And I have some of them to show you here, so we're definitely going to cover that. The flooring and care tips, we'll cover that too, and it depends on which product you're using. So let's check it out. Let's get into a little bit more. So let's look at the first kind of the good model, right? Like your entry level price point. That would be the Cascade series. This is a vinyl floor, and I'm going to show you a couple things that I really dig about this floor. This floor has a synthetic core. You see how the edge here is white? That's a synthetic core, which means that this flooring is not altered much by exposure to water. In fact, they sell this floor as a waterproof, 100% waterproof floor, which means that it won't expand or change its architecture if it's exposed to water. So that means if you are wanting to put something in the kitchen that isn't tile, but you're scared of putting wood, this may be an amazing option for you. And the colors are really cool. Look, this is not your Prego that you find at the Home Depot that's been there forever. Okay, this product is totally different. Look at how cool the colors are in this line. So like the Shoshone, I think it's cut off. I can't read that off, but I'm gonna open it up. So if you're interested in like the grays, look at this gray, the Havasu, the white water, and there's also another one back here. I'm gonna open up on this other camera and have you check them out. So let's do that. Let's switch over to the other camera and let people check them out. So look at this, man. This is really a cool floor. If this is the lightest color of the series, okay. This is probably of the grays. That's the Havasu that's on the picture I showed you earlier. Now, man, if you want something warm, these browns are really cool, and they go from like a very dark brown. Sorry, let me open this up. From a very dark brown to a really light, like honey color. They're really, really a cool product. Have any of you guys seen anything that looks like this? Post your comments, send them over. I'd like to get your feedback on it. Let me keep scrolling through here. I'll show you something really neat. Man, if you like Pottery Barn, if you like that look, like, man, this would look awesome with some of the Pottery Barn furniture. If you have leather couches, amazing. So for those of you that are curious about what the price point is, this one right here, the Alamere, is really cool. I think we're gonna put this in a kitchen in Hermosa Beach. We're working with a client right now, Emily Cox, super nice lady. She really liked this floor and she wants to put this material on the kitchen.
Said hi to Emily, she's watching.
Emily, you're watching. Hey, how you doing? Talking about your project. Now, check this out. If you like kind of something real rich, I mean, this is one of the reasons, of all the product lines, I mean, this is the lowest price point. I'm the most excited about this because it looks really high fashion with a very affordable price tag. So when we're talking about money for this thing, we're talking for, as an example, an 800 square foot deal on this floor, the Cascade series, installed all in, you're under $5,000. You know, for about $4,800 labor materials. So it's an amazing product. So anyhow, I like to see what you guys think. You guys like it? You hate it? What do you think? Curious to see what you guys think. For me, I think if you're into a gray, one of my favorite grays is this, the Havasu. All right. The brown, of all of the colors, my favorites are, and I'm kind of a little bit partial to the browns, but I like this Cumberland, the Cumberland, and this other brown one, the Shoshone. Those are some of my favorites. Can you see that? Is that okay? That's cool. Yeah. Now I think Emily likes this this back one right here. This one. This one's really cool. Look at the detail. I mean, granted, it's a small sample, but I mean, there's like knots, and if you feel the material, it's got like a 3D feel to it. It's not just flat. You can feel like the graining on the surface of the material. Walking barefoot on this is cool. You feel like your feet will get a little bit of traction. You know, it's not going to be super slippery if it gets wet. I think it's a great option. We're presenting this to folks that want to, that have want to stay in budget. And I want to show you one more thing. Let's go back to this camera here. I want to show you the core. This is what makes this waterproof. You see here, there's no MDF. This core is hard as hell. Okay, it's not gonna distort. It's not gonna swell if it's exposed to water, right? I mean, the manufacturer says it's 100% waterproof. I think that if you're considering putting material down on a kitchen, I would give this some serious consideration if you want a wood type product on your kitchen. The backing of it is a rubber backing. It's all in. You don't have to buy a separate sheet to put this in here. It's basically set it on top of this existing subfloor and you're good to go.
So Emily has a question about the SPC flooring.
Oh, okay, cool.
What would be the maintenance requirements to clean it? How do you clean it?
You could probably just wipe this down with a little bit of warm water. We can get the specs on all the manufacturers. They'll have a specific cleaning product line that they're cool, but that they're cool with. But I think you could probably wipe this down if you have issues like with allergies and stuff to the different chemicals in the cleaning products. You could easily wipe this stuff down with some warm water and a damp mop. I think you could definitely get it cleaned up without having to use really harsh chemicals on that. So let's keep going here. The Royal Court collection available.
That's another good option.
Oh, it is another good option.
Number 2.
Royal Court. Oh yeah, well, that's price point's pretty good. So I think the Royal Court, and I just want to make a little correction. I think the Royal Court is probably one step up above the Cascade. And we have
Set number 2.
we have a set here. Okay, this stuff here. Oh my God, you guys! I gotta tell you, when I saw these colors, this flooring looks way more expensive than what it is. Okay, check this stuff out. This is a true wood veneer. Okay, it's a thin veneer. but it's on plywood. Okay, you see the plywood there, and it's an oak veneer, and it's colored, right? So you've got all these really cool designer type colors. You've got a dark gray, a light gray, and then you've got like kind of a gray wash deal. Can you see this stuff okay? Yeah. A brown. I mean, I would say if the wood veneer was thicker, was kind of like the next grade up, this floor would be 2 to 3 times the price. This is at a price point for the same, for 800 square feet, this would be about $6,300 installed, something like that, pretty close to that. Now, granted, this is not with like crazy leveling subfloors and dealing with rotted stuff. This is just labor materials to pop this stuff in. But this is really cool. I can't. I mean, look at how cool this looks. The grain highlighted with a little bit lighter color. I think they did a great job with this line. So this is the Royal Court collection. The Royal Court collection. Do you have any other questions?
None yet.
All right, let's move on. Okay, the good flooring, birch and oak hand scraped. Hand scraped is the next level up, I think.
No, this is also the court. This is also all of this is Royal Court.
Oh, okay. So this stuff's Royal Court. Hold on a second. We're going back.
Royal Court is available in birch and oak, in hand scrape texture or wire brush texture.
So we don't have samples of that though, right?
It should be in there.
These aren't hand scraped. These are all straight up. That's the hand scrape stuff. Okay. So I'll tell you what, folks. Next week we're gonna do another show. I'm gonna get some more samples, and we're definitely gonna. I think one of the things that we should do, Brian, is put together a review of each of the lines. So, for example, this is the Royal Court line. We'll do probably a 15-minute product review of this with the specs, and we'll do the same for the birch and the oak. That would be a cool deal. So let's look at the structure of this product line of the Royal Court collection. Okay, so it does have a UV protection top, 7 coats of UV hard top finish. Folks, if you've got exposure to the sun through windows, this is a must-have. Okay, you gotta consider this as a must-have. That the finish on the material be able to withstand the exposure to the UV light. It's got aluminum oxide. It's one of the toughest finishes. The wearability. Now, the wear layer, that's the layer that actually has the texture. Let's go back to this camera here. So if you look at this, right, if you look at this, it looks like this is one solid piece of wood, right? We know it's engineered. That's the virtue of engineering, is that you use a thinner piece and you get the price down, right? Let me show you the profile here. This plank here, you see it's relatively thin. It's 1.2 to 1.5 millimeters thick, and that'll depend on which product it is. Okay, so you're not going to be able to sand and refinish this. This is pretty much you're gonna use this out, and when you change this out, it's because you're tired of the color. Okay, but it's definitely, if you take care of it, it's going to last you a long time. Probably not one of the finishes that I would recommend if you have pets. We'll talk about some of the other products. I think that the Cascade is definitely a great product if you have pets. These other products, I think, will not wear as good as some of the ones I'm going to show you, and the Cascade. But they're definitely a very nice product, a very well put together product, and I want to be able to install these in the different colors that they come in. I think people would be really excited about them. Now, the multi-layer cross plywood, this is the quality of the plywood of the base. Let's go back over here. The quality of the plywood, you're going to see the layers on here, right? The layer of plywood. The quality of the plywood is just as important as the top layer. If you have a lot of voids in the plywood, when you have pressure on the surface, it will actually break. It'll break the shell. So you want to have a very good quality plywood underneath there that's a solid substrate for your plank. Okay, and these are definitely very nice products. The UV light, if you've had this is kind of a good example of like where somebody had a carpet down, right, and then you know the area where the carpet was exposed to UV light, then you have damage. So many of the polyurethanes that are available over the counter don't have that kind of layer of protection, of UV protection. So there's two ways. Let me go back real quick. There's two ways to deal with this. You can either deal with it you can deal with UV light by putting down a product that has UV protected film, or you can have window treatments, and I'm talking about a film installed on the glass. Okay, if you know obviously it's a door swing, you're not going to put a shade on it, but you can definitely have a UV protection film put on that glass, and it will definitely help with preventing damage to your flooring. So let's look at the better flooring options. The second price point, the Savannah collection. The Savannah collection, really cool product. I got them right here. Man, the Savannah collection comes in really cool colors. And this is probably one of the, I don't know if we have the specs on it, but I mean, man, this looks just like it's a little bit wire finished, right? So the grain is, you can see through the grain, right? It has very nice texture. Let's scroll through these colors here. This even has like a kind of like a brown greenish. I kind of dig that. Lighter tan. So what do you guys think? For you guys watching, you guys like this? I'd like to see what your comments are, what you think about this product line. Now this product is sitting on top of an MDF, a manufactured material. It has a lifetime structure warranty from the factory, and it's definitely kind of like the next level up. And the rep was telling me that this material is really difficult to make a dent in. You know, the film on it, the wood film is relatively thin, but the way that it's fused to the core, it's pretty impressive. And you know, for something that looks this stylish, the price point is very attractive. So the Savannah would be, for 800 square feet installed, would be about $7,500. You know, pretty neat thing, pretty neat deal. So the Savannah collection, the European oak. Let me see if we have a European oak to give you. It's a meerkat. That's the rhino. I don't have a sample of that here.
The website says it's all European oak.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. The species is a European oak. Yeah, that's not the color. So the species is European oak. Seems like this oak, the European oak, has a wider grain pattern maybe than the domestic. It's hard to say, but pretty neat material. Micro beveled edge, float glue or nail. Okay, so all of these engineered, for those of you that may have a question about the install, all of engineered flooring is glued down. Okay, no nails necessary. And in most cases, you can glue engineered flooring straight to concrete. In many cases, if you use engineered flooring versus natural wood on concrete, engineered flooring will be less expensive. Okay, and I'll tell you why. You cannot put natural flooring directly on a slab. It's not recommended. Although you could use Bostix glue, and some people do it. It's not what we would do for you. There's a couple reasons. Slabs are very seldom ever level, so you got to deal with that. So typically, when you are putting in a new wood, a natural wood floor, you have to put down plywood, 3/4 inch plywood. You put down the plywood, you level it out with some sandy ply, which is layers of plywood to deal with any dips in the concrete. And then you could glue and nail on natural wood. If the concrete is in relatively good shape, you can glue an engineered floor directly onto the concrete. Because the engineered floor is the core of it is man-made materials, it's more stable and it doesn't respond to the moisture that can wick through a concrete slab. So, I mean, granted, you know, many of you can make the case about like Bostic's Best, as that glue has a waterproof membrane property to it. It's very expensive. We love using it because it's a great product. But that glue is there to add another layer of protection to your material. So we like to say that if you have a slab, you want to keep the cost down. The engineered plank by itself is less expensive, and then you couple that with the savings on the labor and materials for putting down a plywood layer. So typically this is how it works. If you use natural wood, let's say this is your subfloor, your slab of concrete, you would put, let's go to this camera here. If this was your slab, you would put a layer of plywood down, and it would be nailed with concrete nails and glued. You put down glue, your plywood subfloor, you would nail it with concrete nails. That piece of plywood would stick to the slab, no problem. Then you would come with your flooring and go ahead and glue your flooring, whether it be natural wood or engineered, directly on here. When you use an engineered product, you can just glue straight to the slab. So that's a big savings on the installation, on the labor. This material, this is kind of like a spec sheet here, right? This material is, God, how do we get rid of that? This material here has already the UV coat. It has the wearability layer, which is the pattern layer, is at 1.2 millimeters, and it's dimensionally stable. That means that it is not altered in its dimension by exposure to moisture. Okay, that's one of the cool things about HDF. The Savannah collection has an HDF core, so just keep that in mind when you're considering the different types of flooring. The better flooring. The Via Caprese collection. I like these names these guys come up with. It's kind of a trip. I think that one of the owners must like wine, because there's like a whole collection on the different types of wine out there. And he's got one on the composer where all of them are named after like a famous composer, the composer series, Beethoven, Vivaldi, and all this stuff. Anyway, so the better flooring, the Via Caprese collection. This is a huge plank. It's 9.5 inches wide, European oak, and I've got a big sample here for you. Let's go to this camera here, and we're going to show you a big sample of this bad boy. This deal, a big sample, sorry. It is amazing. Now, you guys may be thinking like, hey man, I can't really tell the difference between like this less expensive MDF deal, the Savannah collection, right? If you look at the grain, the material, the pattern is the same, right? It's all European oak. The question that affects the cost is how thick the veneer is. See, look at this thing right here. This bad boy is thick. It is way, way thicker than the Savannah collection. You see, the Savannah collection is 1.2. This thing is, I think, what, like 4 millimeters thick. I won't get you the actual specs, but has UV coating. You can always tell a material that has that UV coating because the seal is amazing. When you run kind of like your fingernails through it, it's slick. It's definitely not like something you can dig into. The wood is completely dry, kiln dried. It is really an amazing product. They do wire out a little bit of the grain, so you've got some stuff that's smooth, and then you got a little bit of texture. It's really a cool setup. So let's see, this particular line has is available in a hand ground, wire brushed, or smooth texture. So that was one of the options that you can get. The plywood on, let's go back over here. Let's go back over here to so you can see the edge. Look at this plywood layer, right? Like this plywood layer is a little bit thicker. The overall material is a little bit thicker. This looks like it's almost about 3/4 thick, including the veneer or the wear layer. Pretty impressive product. Pretty impressive product. It does come hand scraped. This is the kind of the smoother. This particular product is the smoother deal. But if we go back to the slide, the picture on there of this gray material, that's I think the same collection, different color, and it's hand scraped. So it's just more options, you know. It's really cool. Hold on, let me put this back before you switch over to me.
We have a question from one of our viewers.
Yes.
Looks like on one of the slides we talked about micro bevels. They're asking, what is a micro bevel?
Man, that's a great question. So when you're looking at oh shoot, this is a micro bevel here. There's a couple of differences. So when you want to make something look distressed, you're going to give it a beveled edge, right? Like this material here. It has a beveled edge. You can definitely see a groove. When you put them both together, they're grooved. This material here, the Savannah, has a micro bevel on the edge, and it's basically going to give this the appearance of a plank. Okay, that the level of attention of distress, or the deeper the bevel, the more you'll be able to see the pronounced perimeter of the plank. Okay, it's a technique to get a specific look. Good question. Well, folks, stay tuned. We'll be right back. We got a quick little message from our friends, and we'll be back to continue the rest of the show.
Kitchen you want today from Bay Cities Construction in the Southern California and Los Angeles area. There is no better company who takes time out of the equation to get you a detailed plan of what your new kitchen will look like. Get your design plans done, your interior design plans done, and entire project scope done right now. Get your finished kitchen in 90 days or less. We are the best in the Los Angeles and Southern California area, and there's no need to shop anywhere else. Just get started with Bay Cities Construction. Go to baycitiesconstruction.com. That's baycitiesconstruction.com. Looking for a bathroom remodel in the Southern California and Los Angeles area? If you've shopped and you've looked at prices and have no clue where to start, let Bay Cities Construction get you started with a quote of get design, interior design, project scope, and know exactly what it will cost to get your bathroom remodeled. There is no guesswork and no need to shop around. Just take time out of the equation to get your new bathroom in 90 days. Get your estimate now at baycitiesconstruction.com. That's baycitiesconstruction.com.
Hello, folks. We're back. So we're going to continue talking about your best flooring options. So let's continue. The Shen collection. Gotta get this stuff out of here. The Shen collection is definitely on the kind of higher end of the spectrum. Not quite as expensive as the Via Caprese, but man, this is probably, you definitely save a few bucks on this. The layer is thinner. The wear layer is thinner on this material, and you know, for those of you that are interested, we can get you the specs. We're going to actually put together the download PDF, right, of the specs, and we'll be able to have you download that if you want to dig in a little deeper. So this plywood layer is a little thinner. This is just the backing for this display. This is a display model. So this material is really, really cool. The Lambrusco, this happens to be the Lambrusco color, and it's a natural finish with a little bit of lighter colored highlights. It's wired up, and then it's sand relatively smooth. Has a little bit of a bevel on the edge, so you can see the planks. But look, I want to show you something. The variation in the way that the grain is set up adds a tremendous amount of character to the whole deal. You look at this knot here. This is filled with a polymer, right? Because you know it's nice but it looks correct, right? I mean, it looks like a natural knot, which it is. It's the fill is really good quality. And then here you see a little bit of sapwood from the plank. Like this variation between these three planks, man, it gives a flooring a tremendous amount of character. See, they kept a little bit of sapwood there too. And then here you've got a few knots. You've got a kind of a knot a little bit higher up. Man, I'm for these price points, I think these floors are great. I didn't price out this line, the Shen line, for the show, but if you do like this product, send me a picture of your area that you want your flooring, and send me a question. I'll be more than happy to give you a price point for the flooring. So what else we got here? The wire brush, 7.5 inch plank, inspired by vineyards.
Hence the names.
Yeah. So
Chardonnay.
that's right. So this is a 7.5 inch plank. Really neat wire brush texture. Now the wire brush will help take some of the material out of the grain, so it gives you a little bit of texture. But then they sand it, so it's not rough. Like I would say the Composer line is way rougher in texture. It gives you kind of that dried barnwood type of a feel. The Composer does. This is wire brush to give you some texture, but it's sanded smooth. So when you walk on it, you do feel some texture, but it's definitely got a smoother finish to it. Really neat. And there's a bunch of colors on there. We'll share those with you. We'll share a link to Urbanfloors. You can browse through their website. They have really a great picture gallery of their product. So I want to give you a little bit of a background on who Urbanfloor is. They're here. They're a local company here in California. They've got some products that have locally sourced materials, like their hickory line. It's got American hickory. I think that the design options, what they've done with the colors, the dimensions of the plank, really bring a breath of fresh air to the flooring industry. If you want to learn more about construction, you want to learn more about home remodeling, we have hundreds of articles on our website, baycitiesconstruction.com. Go ahead and click on the blog button, and you can scroll through there and do a little bit of scavenger hunting and seeing if you come across, you will come across, I think, a few articles that you'll find will answer many of your construction questions. We have any other questions? Has anybody posted any questions?
We do have a question from another one of our viewers. They're asking, what does free floating mean?
Free floating means that the plank is not attached either with glue or with nails to the subfloor. It sits on top. See, most people don't realize this, but like Pergo and those types of laminates, which is in the Cascade line. Where's our Cascade line? The Cascade line, do you have it with you? The Cascade line doesn't get glued down. It's planks, right? So this rubber part here doesn't get glued down. It just gets set on the floor. So a free floating floor, this is an example of a free floating floor. It doesn't have to be glued down. You save the expense of the labor of gluing, you save the expense of the material, and in the case of urban flooring, you get the look. Many of these planks look just like the more expensive ones at a fraction of the price. Any other questions? What else we got?
Looks like we have another question from one of our viewers. Are hardwood floors an option if either in the second story of a condo?
Man, that's condos are a point of contention, right? You got to check your CC&R rules with your HOA. Most of them are very strict about the soundproofing that the flooring has to possess in order to put tile or hardwood materials. So you really your first direction for research should be with the CCNRs of the HOA. Anything else? What else we got?
We do have another question from one of our other viewers. Looks like we talked about European oak.
Yep.
Is European oak better than American oak?
Well, it depends on who you talk to. I don't know that European oak is better, but there's definitely sourcing issues, right? With oak. Oak grows real slow, so you have to, if you're a manufacturer, you have to be able to tap into a sustainable a line of raw materials, right? So I think that's one of the reasons that you have these different veneer thickness available now, because they're trying to make the oak that is available last, one tree. They're trying to get as many board feet out of one tree as possible, right? Or as many square footage of coverage out of one tree. So the thinner you make the veneer, the easier you can accomplish that, and you can keep the price down, obviously. But I don't know that European oak is better than American oak. But if you're a wine drinker, you may prefer French oak over American oak in your wine. But I don't know if it makes any difference for your floor.
Looks like we do have another question from one of our other viewers in Redondo Beach, and I think it's about their installation. They're asking, so can I leave linoleum flooring on the bottom?
If you're installing something like this, like the Cascade series that's free floating, you may be able to do that. If you've got like some asbestos and you don't want to deal with that, you may want to leave that flooring down. You may want to install something like this. So in some conditions, for those of you that have some questions or you're in doubt, take a picture and send it to me at alex@baycitiesconstruction.com, and I'll give you my opinion on what I think you should do.
And looks like somebody's asking about Urbanfloors. Can you buy direct? Like, can the public buy?
With the Urbanfloors, you have to have an account through one of their dealers. They do have a showroom in, I think, the City of Commerce. Industry, excuse me. They have the City of Industry. There's a bunch of retailers here in the South Bay, and you could find a local retailer on their website. If you want to learn more about their floors, you can always call us and send me an email at alex@baycitiesconstruction.com. We are an authorized retailer of Urbanfloor products.
One last question. So then, do you use Urbanfloors for all your projects?
So that's a great question. For the flooring, engineered flooring, and now the vinyl products, I'm 100% sold on this company. We will sell this exclusive. We'll offer this to our clients exclusively when we're talking about a project that requires either engineered flooring or a vinyl synthetic product like this. I really believe in it. I think that the colors and the design capabilities of the patterns have a tremendous amount of potential. I think that it's just an exciting product line, and it's something totally new. It's a totally new look. The feel of it is amazing. I think that our customers will benefit by adding this to their house for sure. So we're carrying this exclusively. For those of you that have questions or watching us on rebroadcast, please do not forget to ask your questions. Just because you didn't watch us live doesn't mean we won't answer our questions. We'll always respond to you within 24 hours. If you like something on the show, you like a particular product, you want to get more information on it, please send me an email at alex@baycitiesconstruction.com. So for those of you that haven't heard from us or haven't heard of Bay Cities Construction, we've been in business for over 15 years. I have my offices here in Torrance, California, just off of Hawthorne Boulevard. I'm on Hawthorne and PCH. We're in the CAD West building in Torrance. And the picture you see here on the slide is Steve and I. And Steve's my project manager. For those of you that don't know or are considering a major home remodel, we offer interior design services. That means we will set you up with an interior designer. We'll help you out with architectural and engineering. We'll represent you with the city to get your permits and your plans approved, and we'll project manage your job and get it built. So for this show, because I did advertise that we would be offering you a special offer, a special deal. We will help you select if you're considering changing the floors out in your place. If you are considering doing that, you need some help, you don't know where to go, you haven't had enough or much confidence in the people that you've talked to. If you send me an email by the end of this month of March, Alex at Bay Cities Construction with your info, or you convert online at baycitiesconstruction.com. You basically send us your info, you tell us, hey, you want to do your flooring. I will set you up with the designer. Typically we charge $75 an hour for interior design. I'll set you up for 3 hours of consultation. That means that you'll meet with the designer. They will present you with the product. We will take measurements of how much product you need, help you determine your baseboards, everything that you need. I'll give you 3 hours for $47. So that is, what's that, $225 value for $47.
That's crazy.
So give us a call, 888-881-7355. Send me an email. I need to see proof that you saw us through the show. So I need you to click on to baycitiesconstruction.com and put in your info and say, hey, I saw you on episode 10. Alex, I need help with getting my flooring picked out. So, and I want to know more about Urbanfloor. So for $47, we'll set you up with 3 hours of service and make sure that you get the perfect look for your house. Do we have any last minute questions? Anybody else have a comment or anything that we want to address before we wrap this show up?
Another question. One last question. The engineered wood products with veneers, do they require sanding, just like hardwood?
The engineered products with veneer require sanding. No, they don't require sanding. Basically, all of these products that you see here are, once they're installed, they lay down and that's it. They're done. You don't have. It isn't like one of the first slides, that chevron slide, where you put the natural wood down, you have to sand it and put the coats. These are already finished at the factory. They're ready to go. So no, they're basically, when they're installed, they're ready to be walked on. If they're glued, they'll be ready to be walked on the next day. But the free-floating stuff of the Cascade lines are ready to go right away. That's a great question, though. Folks, don't forget to share us with your friends. If you have some questions about anything on the show, please post them. It makes the whole thing a lot more fun. And my name is Alex with Bay Cities Construction, reminding you don't need a contractor. You need a team of pros. See you next week.
The kitchen you want today from Bay Cities Construction in the Southern California and Los Angeles area. There is no better company who takes time out of the equation to get you a detailed plan of what your new kitchen will look like. Get your design plans done, your interior design plans done, and entire project scope done right now. Get your finished kitchen in 90 days or less. We are the best in the Los Angeles and Southern California area, and there's no need to shop anywhere else. Just get started with Bay Cities Construction. Go to baycitiesconstruction.com. That's baycitiesconstruction.com.
Hey folks, don't forget, $47, 3 hours of interior design. Get the product, get the flooring of your dreams. Give us a call here at 888-881-7355 or send me an email at alex@baycitiesconstruction.com. See you next week.
My name's Alex Rodriguez, reminding you don't need a contract. You need a team of pros.